Lesson 2.5, Concept 3, using graphs to generate different representations of data. So graphs are the most difficult to start with. Okay? Partly because it's hard sometimes to see exactly where they cross over the points on lines, and partly because you're still having to find those patterns and pick out an equation. All right. The first step is to make your table of ordered pairs. Okay, we don't have to come up with our rule yet. We just want to find at least 4 ordered pairs. All right. I always start with negative, right, the left side for x. So I'm going to start at -1. And at -1, I see this point right here. Looks like it crosses. And then at 0, I see this point. At 1, I see this point. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and see where it crosses this x-axis, because that usually gives us some helpful information as well. And I think that is right there on that line. Okay, so when x is -1, y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When x is 0, y is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0 and 5. When x is 1, y is 4. And x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When y is 0. Okay, so we've got our table, all right, and we can see some interesting patterns there. So for these 3, where we have x increasing by 1, y is decreasing by 1. Okay, so we're going to set our equation up. It's going to look like y equals something, x something. Okay, so when x increases by 1, y decreases by 1. And just like in the last video where we saw y increasing by 3, whatever this number is, whatever the pattern for y either increasing or decreasing, whenever x is increasing by 1, that's going to be our coefficient, or what we put next to x. So that's what's being multiplied by x, is -1. Okay, and we can also write that as just y equals -x. Okay, and now to figure out the second part of our rule, we're going to look at what's called the y-intercept. So it's this place where my line crosses the y-axis. Okay, the reason that's important is because that's where x equals 0 is everywhere along that y-axis. X equals 0, and if x equals 0, then the negative part doesn't matter, right? Whatever we're multiplying or dividing by x doesn't matter, and all that we have left is what's going to be added to or subtracted to our variable on this side. So when x is 0, y is 5, that means that we have a +5 or a +5 in our equation, added to our equation. Okay? And that's our equation. Y equals -x plus 5. And I could put in other values for this to check. All right, let's put 4 in. So when x is 4, -4 plus 5, -4 plus 5 is going to be 1. So where x is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, y should be 1, and it looks like it is. So we did a good job. We've got our equation, we've made our table, and we started with our graph.